Welcome, Planeswalkers, to the CollectorMania YouTube channel. This is the February Commander League 1v1 Finals. I'm Eric Ward, and this is Kylie Fortner.
How's it going?
We will be your commentators this evening. Right now, we've got our players kind of hanging out up there. But first, let's give you guys some background and stuff. This is a dual commander ban list event. 20
French ban list.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's important just because we did go to
The MTGO
yeah,
list
the
and
Denver Grand Prix or whatever, and they had a different set of rules. So it's important to say this is the French commander ban list.
And it is not Leviathan, it's the 20 starting life. There is a 10-card sideboard, best of 3 match here, no time limit. Yeah, as mentioned, the certain ban list. Yeah, these guys played essentially for 6 weeks. We took their top 4 scores. As far as our seeding and stuff, right now we have our 4th and 5th seed. Steve Morrison here on the right, and then David Luzum on here on the left. Those are our 4th and 5th seed. Everybody here, as far as points, got 34 points or more for the multiplayer segment, so pretty good.
So they upped their game this league around, because before you'd be able to get in with 27, 26.
Yeah.
Everybody upped their game a lot.
Certainly. So really quick, we'll kind of do some editing here, get these guys started on their first match, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so we are going to break into the match. The players are ready to go here.
Shuffled up, just cut. We wanted to feature this matchup. We'll get into that because David has been kind of the reigning champ. I believe he won the last two in a row.
Yes.
So he's kind of the reigning champion. He's piloting Krenko, which he has won with the last 2 times, knowing that with that 20 life point change that mono red's very, very fast.
Yes, indeed.
And then we also wanted to do Steve. They did pair up this way, but it was kind of funny because David's the reigning champ, and Steve is kind of the old guard champion. He's won the most of anyone in the league. He will be trying to stop David from tying him up.
Yep. Neither mulliganed, right?
Neither came down to a mulligan.
Have a Grim Lavamancer, of course, on David's side, a Bloodghast on Steve's.
That's a pretty good early start for both of them.
Yes. Just got to get a graveyard going here for David. Have you played against Steve's Bontu deck in the league?
I have played against it. It's really interesting. It's a lot faster than you expect it to be in mono black.
Yes.
Bloodghast being a perfect example of that.
It's going for how many? 2? Is that right?
2, yeah.
2. In addition, guys, just to give you some extra background, in first we had an Apatra deck for Cullen versus an Omnath Green, Anafenza versus Gahalta, Zergo Bellstriker versus another Anafenza deck, and of course here we have Bontu versus Krenko.
And it was actually 1 damage. I'm going to correct myself on that one.
Okay. So some thinking. David's second main right now. Looks like he's got is that a Pithing Needle in his hand?
Yeah, I did see a Pithing Needle. He's going to want to save that for when Bontu comes out, or he's going to play it now on Bontu would be my guess. Yep. I think the motion is toward Bontu, so that will hurt Steve quite a bit. I know Steve in this deck loves to use Bontu's triggered ability. It's very, very, very good, especially to keep the life total up.
And David looks like he's got a Lightning Bolt and a Searing Spear. I haven't taken a good look at Steve's hand.
That's an Aether Vial.
Aether Vial, yeah. Another land.
If David doesn't get rid of that Aether Vial quick, I know that Steve goes out of control with that pretty quickly.
And a Scrap Heap Scrounger.
Yep.
Couple land in David's hands. Gosh, it's so hard to keep track of Steve's. So Lightning Bolt coming down on
end of turn on the Scrounger. Now the Scrounger has that graveyard ability, so
yeah. Tap, draw 1. Can't tell what that one is.
3 mana.
Goblin Rabble Master.
That's what it looks like to me. So he's got the he's winning the chase currently. Yes. Mono red is winning the chase, which is to be expected.
Yeah, and especially with that Pithing Needle there, that might stop things from equalizing here in the future, but we'll see. Aether Vial goes up to 1. Steve draws and shuffles quickly. Rebel Master, if you played against it in Standard, is quite the clock. He can really, put it down quick, just by himself. So Bitter Blossom there.
Well, that'll help out a little bit. The problem is he's going to be losing life, whereas the Rabble Master will not.
Yeah.
Steve is okay to trade with that Blood Gas because it does come back from the graveyard.
Yep. And right now, Steve has not played a land for the turn.
He has not. He's missing his land drop.
Yeah, and he missed one there. So draw one. Is that a Mog Fanatic in his hand? And is that... I'm not familiar with that art.
I'm not 100% sure on that one for sure. I don't know red as well as you do.
And I don't
so
play.
Actually,
I did have a Krenko deck, but not. I took it apart pretty quick, and I didn't have this burn strategy. It was certainly a multiplayer version, and of course, he was playing Krenko, or no, he's playing. Is that Krenko?
oh, that does not look like Krenko.
That's Chandra, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so David's changed up his strategy, and it's taken us 6 minutes
to
recognize that.
to pull that in.
So 2 goblins there swinging, and the house. Steve has got...
He can flash a 1/1 into play, or he can flash a 1-mana thing into play with the Aether Vial, but that's it. So it looks like he's just taking it, going down to 10. That's 7 damage.
And of course, against the red deck, anywhere like I'd say under 6, 9 to 6, it gets scary.
Yeah, it does, especially with the fire blasts and all that other stuff.
So David did make his land on turn 4. He's taking a Bitter Blossom damage here. Steve is.
Yep. Now it'll be better to use that 1 damage and block any of the bigger creatures. So better to take the 1 now for a blocker.
Yes. And he's going to take his Aether Vial up, take his draw. So be looking for like a Grey Merchant of Asphodel, got a Lotus Petal.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give him some land or some health back would be really nice.
We've seen that a number of times where Gary will show up and then, just make a huge 5-point swing in either direction for both players, and that can really make or break a match. That certainly is a Searing Spirit, and I have no idea what that foil is in his hand. So swinging with the Bloodghast.
And he might as well. Again, Bloodghast can't block, so... But he really needs... I mean, like a Damnation right now would be just phenomenal for Steve's board.
Mm-hmm. So tap into...
He's going to kill the blocker.
Fairy.
I mean, the Rabble Master is going to swing in for 2, 3, 4, 5, if not more, on its own. So
he just scryed, it looks like. Scry 2.
Yeah, 2 damage, scry 2. Magma Jet.
Yeah. So Searing Spear.
Now,
and a mountain.
The Aether Violet, too, means that he can always play some combat tricks here.
Yes. I wish we could take a look at Steve's hand. He's holding his cards pretty vertical, which, and it looks, how many does he have? 2?
2 or 3?
Yeah. What's David thinking here? So Steve reading Rabble Master. You looking it up there?
Yep, I've got it right here.
So just for our viewers, he makes a goblin at pre-combat, and they've got a swing. Is that correct?
Yeah, all goblins he has have to attack each combat if able. But Rabble Master gets +1/+0 for each a swinging goblin.
Jeez.
So David should move that up to 3.
Yep.
And then he's going to combat.
And David has the Grim Lava Monster. Oh my god.
Lavamancer.
Thank you. Online, he's got 2 cards in graveyard at the moment. So maybe a trigger on that card. Is it Frenzied Goblin? So sudden spoiling. Ooh, that's pretty good.
That's not bad at all. Now he can't block it. He's going to just take 0 damage for it, so it's kind of saving him for a turn, but he's still on the back foot.
Yes,
really hard on
certainly.
the back foot.
And now he's got 2 cards in hand. He might have an Aether Vial effect, like you said.
He has to hope he has one.
Yeah.
Start getting something out there.
Yep.
His Bloodghast isn't doing him any good right now.
So David's hit his 5th land. Like you said, very quick.
There's 3 more. He's bringing out Chandra.
And again, that Searing Spear. Pass turn.
Yep. Yeah, we're going into upkeep for the Bitter Blossom.
Yep. Just gonna read Chandra here. If I can remember her name.
Now she taps to deal damage to target creature or player, and then if you play a red spell, you can untap her. And if you deal 3
In a turn, you
3
can flip
with her in a turn, she flips. Yep. Looks like Steve might be missing another land here.
Sack the pedal.
So that's 4. Ooh, Phyrexian Obliterator. That's a pretty good play right now. It's a pretty big creature, 5/5. And any sort of damage dealt to it is going to cause David to sacrifice permanents. Now, David has a lot of tokens to sacrifice, which is something that he's probably sort of okay with.
Yeah. But now at least Steve's got 2 blockers. The potential for, I guess, another one with the Aether Vial.
Yep. Aether Vial. And once you're at to 3 mana, as far as the converted mana cost for Aether Vial, you can start putting a lot into play at that point.
Yes.
I'm thinking even flashing in a Fleshbag Marauder. All right, we got the Lavamancer trigger.
And if David's graveyard is full enough, like, that can just keep going, you know?
So he Lavamancered in a turn to get rid of the Bitter Blossom token. Alright, so 1 more damage to his face before a red spell is played. He's counting the red spell ticker with that die there. There's the spear.
So another ping.
Yeah.
So he'll be at, what, 6 or less?
Well,
No, less than that.
Yeah, the spear went at him too, so...
Gesture for 3.
Down to 3. Then that's...
And Burst Lightning, is that it?
I think so. Which is 2, and then you've got 1 more for Chandra.
Yep. So that looks like...
That was game 1.
Yes. So, game 1 to David. What do you think? I mean, the land on Steve's side?
That definitely hurt. Also, the Pithing Needle on Bontu really hurt, because Bontu would have been out by now. Bontu is only 3, I believe. 2 colorless and a black to get out. He's pretty cheap. So, with Bontu's ability not being able to stack, you're losing out on being able to gain life and drain your opponent of life, as well as having a big 5/6 blocker that's indestructible.
Yep.
The Pithing Needle, in my opinion, I think the Pithing Needle was the unsung hero of that match. Really shutting down the whole Bontu's deck and the deck theme. So we'll see how round 2 goes. It looks like neither of them are sideboarding at all. I know Steve's not much of one for sideboarding in the first place.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, that Pithing Needle was rough.
Oh, actually, it looks like David is going to do some sideboarding here.
So Active Volcano, Word of Seizing, Dampening Matrix, Leyline of Lightning, Ugin's Nexus, probably for Narset.
Yeah.
Or Leyline of Punishment, maybe. Red Blast.
A Leyline of Punishment would be really good because it would stop Bontu from gaining life.
Looks like that's made the cut. Dampening Matrix.
There's going to
Red Blast and
reverberate.
Pyroblast.
Yeah. Or not reverberate, Pyroblast.
So an interesting game 1, only going to turn 5, roughly. I guess that's the name of Dual Commander sometimes, though.
Well, and especially Mono Red. I mean, Mono Red is really popular right now, and the reason being is it's so fast. Definitely really hard to deal with.
Yes.
Obviously, Steve made no changes, but I think Pithing Needle really won David that game with Bontu not being able to get out and start doing some work.
Yeah. The miss of the land drop.
Yeah, and especially with Bloodghast. You can sacrifice Bloodghast for Bontu's trigger, get Bloodghast back when you play a land. It's just really, really powerful.
Yes, indeed. David's still making his cuts. I saw him eye a Tarfire real quick. Got a fork.
Now, the one thing is with Red is, and you could see it at the end of that match there, is David was not drawing into much after that. Yeah. So you do play yourself out. Black has much better card draw than Red does. And Bontu's ability is really helpful for that.
Yeah. Do you know if Steve runs much disruption, hand disruption?
I don't think there's a lot of hand disruption in there. I think it's a lot of creature disruption.
Okay.
He's gonna, once Bontu gets online, I think he's gonna be able to take care of a creature board state really well. The issue is, especially like last game, David got a lot of creature token generation online, which again really difficult for Black to deal with if they're doing a lot of Edict effects.
Here we can see a Gutter Snipe, and was it a Young Pyromancer going out?
I definitely saw Gutter Snipe come out. I didn't see the other one.
So Leyline, and I've already forgotten.
Now that Leyline, especially if he gets it early on, that could be another sort of Pithing Needle situation where it really swings the tide in David's favor. Again, Black cannot deal with enchantments almost at all.
Yeah.
So you get a good enchantment board up there, you get something like that Leyline, it's just going to be out there, and David's
in the driver's seat at that point.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Steve should be going first, or if he'd like to.
Yeah, he gets to elect to. There's very few situations, next to no situations, where you would elect not to.
Yes. So, opening hands. 6, 7.
Steve, playing mind games. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. I don't know. Couple
Swamp,
lands,
swamp,
3
swamp,
lands,
swamp,
4 lands,
swamp,
5
swamp.
lands. A Liliana. I couldn't see the next 2, but he's got 5 lands. That's rough.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. Good amount of lands. Can't see the foil in David's hand. I don't know if he's happy about that. Oh, it's a Howling Mine.
He is going to keep that.
Yeah.
So I think
Both
Steve's
keeps.
really hoping to get to the Bontu as early as possible.
Yeah. Ooh, a Goblin Guide.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Well, that'll really help Steve, actually, especially
Yeah.
get him out of his land
Yeah.
flood, which looks like was about to happen.
Yeah, imagine drawing a 6th land. It's good for the Goblin Guide player, but as far as some information and stuff, but really, that's a good thing. Hopefully this isn't another land.
It was not. It was a reassembling skeleton, which is a good engine for Bontu. He's going to get that out there.
He costs 1 to regenerate, is that right?
Yes, 1 black to regenerate.
Okay, so obviously you don't block here, but in the future you've got something good to keep blocking.
Well, and reassembling skeleton doesn't regenerate. You can play him from the graveyard, I believe.
Okay. So it looks like a fork. I just saw maybe an Urza's Rage, the Howling Mine, another mountain in David's hand. Swing with the Goblin Guide here. Steve flips a Vampire Nighthawk, which that I'm sure will catch a spell pretty quick. Reassembling Skeleton takes the block.
Yeah, 1 colorless and a black to return reassembling skeleton from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
Okay.
So that Nighthawk could put in some real work. It only has a 3 toughness, which a lot of burn spells can get through.
Yep.
But the lifelink on it is something that is difficult to deal with.
So
nice.
Answer, right?
Yep, that one puts out a death-touching snake every turn, or every upkeep, as long as there is not one. So right now he'll get a snake. That will stop the Goblin Guide from coming in.
You might get one of them. Will probably get a burn spell if there's a good one in hand.
That's true. I see a fork in hand.
Yep. So 3 for Chandra.
Chandra can ping.
What's... Oh, pass?
Yep. Well, Chandra doesn't have haste, so can't take care of it yet.
Okay. So, a land drop for Steve. So 3 for Bontu.
Yep. He's got 2 creatures. David probably can't take care of both. Well, he might be able to on his turn.
Yeah.
But either way, reassembling Skeleton and start getting your engine going is really good.
So to make Bontu active, you have to sacrifice a creature, is that correct?
Yeah, you have to pay some mana and sacrifice a creature.
Okay. So a lightning bolt just drawn by David.
So Bontu is pay 1 colorless and 1 black, sacrifice another creature. You scry 1, and each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain a life. So
Hers is Rage, is that right?
Yep.
Lightning bolt. It's interesting body language from David. So Chandra ping.
Yep, gonna get rid of the death touchy snake. Oh no,
No, to
face.
Steve.
Okay. I would have expected that to get rid of a snake. Urzur's Rage is gonna get rid of the snake producer, which is good.
And untap Chandra.
Now the thing with that, unfortunately, is now Bontu's active. He is a creature that can attack or block. Because as long as a creature dies on Steve's board until end of turn, Bontu can attack or block.
Okay. So in comes the guide.
I don't think David knows that. That's a Gonti.
So block.
And there's the block, yep. And Gonti's going to exile the top 4 cards of David's library. Steve gets to steal one of it, and he can play it without paying its mana cost.
And David missed a land drop there, it appears, right? Or no, did he?
He went second, so yeah, he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah, and Steve's on 5.
Yep.
So 3.
There's the
For
Vampire
Nighthawk.
Nighthawk.
And David's tapped out.
Yep.
Not that that necessarily matters, but
I feel like he's going to sacrifice the snake. Yep. Get his Bontu to start swinging in. That's 4 damage, as well as the drain, the 1 life drain, and a scry trigger here. So this is where Steve's sort of getting online with Bontu. Also unfortunate that David can't take care of the Vampire Nighthawk at end of turn, so that Bontu can't be active on his turn.
right. So a ping there from Chandra, bringing Steve to 17. Draw. So lightning bolt.
He missed another land.
Is that Bedlam Reveler? Howling Mine? Yeah, David, I think he might be showing some frustration there.
Yeah, he's kind of having the same problem that Steve did last time, stuck on 3 lands.
Yep.
No Pithing Needle to pull himself out of this one. I'll fork the lightning bolt's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
That's 6 damage.
Maybe an extra one there.
Yeah.
No.
So that could bring him to 10.
So bolt.
Although, yep.
The
And then
hawk.
fork it.
Okay.
So that's going to be 3 to the hawk and 3 to his face.
Could he? What's Bontu?
And he's got 2 triggers of Chandra in response to both those. So Chandra will actually flip. Because Chandra dealt 1.
Yep.
And then she's going to deal another 2. So that's the 5 damage coming off for the lightning bolt and the 3 Chandra triggers. Or that's why it's 6. I'm sorry. That's down to 11.
From 17. Yeah.
From 17, yep.
And he should be at 10 because right he should take another one?
No, that he was at 17. He took 6.
Okay.
3 from Chandra, 3 from Lightning Bolt.
Okay.
And then Chandra flipped over, and now he's dealt him more damage.
I see. Yeah, I'm thinking 6 from the bolt and the forked bolt, but that makes sense.
Now we'll see what Steve does here. Bontu can't take care of Chandra alone. But he can always reassembling skeleton to get the sack trigger off. He can deal 4 damage to it. That's gonna do quite a bit.
What's her name? Fire of Kaladesh. I'm not familiar with her. So deals 2 to target player, deals 2 to target creature,
and 6 damage to each opponent, and each player dealt damage this way gets an emblem with at the beginning of your upkeep.
Deals 3.
Deals 3 damage to you.
So Steve has played what?
Steve played an Entomb to get back the Orpheum. Oh, nice. Yep, so he's got his Snake Engine online again.
2.
He's going to sacrifice... Oh, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
I'm assuming he's going to sacrifice something to get Bontu's trigger, because he needs to get 4 damage in so that he can't deal 2 damage to his snake. Yep, here's the sack trigger.
So Bontu's online.
Bontu is online. There's the drain.
Is that an 8?
I think he's at 9 now.
Steve needs to write his life total.
Or he's at 10, because it could be a 1 off the side of the board. Because
yeah.
it was a 9, so I think he went up to 10.
Yeah.
And then Chandra's at 1.
So we have an option to deal 2 to a player now?
Yep, that's
Keep
the only
her alive.
thing. She can't even deal 2 damage to a creature because it takes 2. So she has to deal 2 to a player.
This is turn 6, right? So Steve didn't miss a land. David's doing pretty good without land.
Still hasn't gotten a land. That's definitely the crutch right now.
Yeah. Is that a Rift Bolt that he just drew?
I mean, as long as Steve kind of slow plays this, doesn't play out his hand, I think he's in the driver's seat right now.
Yeah.
That snake can go through for 1. Chandra, as long as there's no other creatures out. Or even just attacking it straight through with Bontu.
Mm-hmm. Not familiar with that one.
I am not either. I don't know if I've ever seen that art before. Oh, it gets back from the graveyard, it looks like?
No, he drew that off the top, I think.
No, he played Lightning Bolt earlier with the fork.
Maybe it wasn't Lightning Bolt. Maybe it was Chain Lightning before.
Yeah, it was Chain Lightning before it. So
hit the Philomancer.
Yep. Now 2 damage to his face.
Hopefully he'll go to 8.
Yeah, he should go to 8. Yep. Well, that was a pretty quick change.
Again, I think that was the right call. Like, I mean, having that guy just keep Bontu online for the whole rest of the game.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. 1 mana gets that guy back somehow. Again, a card I don't know how he's getting that back, but
does that snake still have Death Touch without the Ophelia?
Yeah, it's a 1/1 Death Touch.
Okay.
It's not the Ophelimancer that gives it Death Touch.
So we draw 3 cards in Steve's hand, a bunch in David's, a land drop there.
He's got tons of land. 2 to reassembling skeleton. I want to see Steve flood his board with options. Oh, that's
it. Smother?
Yep. That'll let him freely swing into Chandra there, because David's tapped out.
And if this guy's even just a 1/1, the snake and the
whatever
that middle guy is.
Yep. Again, I really want... That's 4 mana. That's quite a bit.
So 1 card in hand.
Gonti,
yeah.
Gonti is a Death Toucher also.
And you can sack him. I'm thinking Yahenni, never mind. So
yeah, not Yahenni.
You said mill 4?
No, exile top 4. Steve gets to look at him. He gets to choose a card from them. and then he can play that card.
Without paying cost, or
I believe it's without paying its mana
so
cost.
Chaos Warp and an artifact of some type. It looks like you got 2 land off the top.
No, so he can't play it without paying its mana cost. He does, but he can pay any color.
Okay. And
So
it's
it
till
was-
end of turn, or
As long as it remains exiled.
exiled?
So now even if Gonti leaves, he can still play the card. There's that 2 damage to Chandra.
Okay. Which may or may not be a good thing if you're at 8. I guess his commander will, what, cost 5 now?
It does cost 5, and he's
Okay.
still 2 away from that, so...
Yep.
Hopefully the Gonti trigger doesn't get him into land. That would be the worst thing for Steve, and it didn't.
Satyr Fire Dancer?
Yeah. Yeah, David's in a real rough spot right now.
Yeah.
The life total wouldn't show it, but definitely board state.
Yes.
And Gonti is a 2/3, so he's not super easy to you can't shock him down.
Yeah. Kind of a thinking match right now, especially on David's end. With 3 mana, there's not... what else could be said? There's not much to do.
Yeah. He's probably wondering what his good targets are for his burn spells. I mean, again, 8 life is a really dangerous spot to be at with any red deck. If he just starts dealing some damage to Steve's face and then gets into that Fire Blast, I mean, that's 4 damage for free. So
Yeah. Yep. So Rift Bolt suspended. So if he kills something, that'll activate Bontu for that turn, I guess. But
yeah.
so the draw. Steve's got David's card in hand, whatever that may be. Ooh, a Smuggler's Copter. Jeez. Now that's a card, as a standard player, like, it's odd to see, but in Commander, it's like, oh my gosh.
In
that,
1v1 Commander, it does
yeah,
work.
that card is amazing. So maybe a Bontu sack. So to what, 13 and 9 now? Yep.
Yep. And then he'll...
Scry?
Yeah, he does get to Scry. He's got Bontu. He's got Gonti.
He's got the snake.
The snake and a smuggling copter. The smuggling copter, he might save the smuggling copter as a activate. So that's 4 damage. Now I think, yeah, he takes it now because when the Rift Bolt goes off, he's going to deal damage, and then the Satyr Fire Dancer will deal damage to a creature.
Okay.
So he can kind of deal a good amount of damage and clean up the board a little bit.
Both players at 9. I think Steve might have a card in hand. So Rift Bolt suspend.
So he does it to the face. The Fire Dancer will then trigger and deal however much damage Rift Bolt dealt to a target creature.
So Gonti.
3 damage to Gonti, yep.
And Steve, yeah. Being at 6, that is definitely the scary zone.
Now he's going to tap to crew and then sacrifice it to gain a life,
And
have
Scry.
David lose life, and scry, yep. So now the Smuggler's Copter should be online at this point.
And how big is Satyr Fire Dancer, do you know?
Yep, it is a 1/1.
Okay.
Now, David has not taken his damage from the Bonti trigger. Or from the Bontu trigger, I'm sorry, from sacrificing. So David should be at 8, not at 9.
I might go tell him.
Oh, he's changing his life total right now.
Okay, cool.
Okay, and this is...
Is that a Searing Blood?
This is all on David's upkeep. And
does look like
he
Searing
did draw a
Blood.
card though. Yeah. So. Yep. Smuggler's Copter was active, so he was able to get rid of it.
So 4. So despite
What's that card?
I'm not sure. Maybe split targets. 'Cause Steve took 3. The copter died, and then the snake died.
Well, if Steve takes damage from an instant or sorcery, the Satyr Fire Dancer is going to deal that much damage to a creature. So that's probably how he got rid of the snake. Now, I'm wondering how he took 3 damage.
It might be a artifact kill spell that deals damage to owner.
Oh yeah, that's possible. Swing in for 1, even though there's a blocker. Oh, Steve's going to take it. Maybe that creature can't block either.
And 1.
He's going to puff
Pump?
it. Yeah.
Is
Pump it
that
up.
the?
That's game.
That's it. I think that's the one of the Blood Rush guys.
Yeah.
So, that's match 1.
No. Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
So 2-0 for David there. Yeah.
Looks like the defending champion is going to wipe out the old guard.
Yep.
And we'll see how far Chandra gets him.
Yes, indeed. Thanks for tuning in. Check out the next matches. We'll be back shortly.